everyone, my name is Elizabeth, Clinical Psych Registrar from Prosper Health Collective. Today I just want to be talking to you a little bit about managing your symptoms of ADHD in a professional context in your workplace. So I've got 5 tips here that I would recommend when it comes to navigating this. So the first tip I have here is I would really recommend you get to know your very own ADHD symptoms and what that looks like for you in a workplace context. What are some of the challenges and how your symptoms can impact on your work in the current role that you're in, but also what are the strengths that you bring as a result of the symptoms of ADHD into your workplace? Because you don't want just to be looking at some challenges you might be facing. You also want to look at what are some strengths that you have to balance things out, because often you will have strength, okay? So for example, if we look at challenges around inattentiveness, perhaps when we start to get bored after 2 hours of non-stop work, when are you more inattentive? Is it after you have been working for extended of period time without breaks, or when you actually get distracted by something, people walking past around you, for example? So just knowing a little bit of when that could happen will help make a difference in trying to establish strategies that could be useful for you. Some other examples might be, when might you find yourself a little bit more impulsive? When might you find yourself, to have less of a filter when talking about certain conversations? Or you might find yourself interrupting in conversations. Would there be more when you feel like restless, or when you feel a little bit tired, or when you feel like you're actually really hungry and you haven't eaten the whole day? So just having a look at that, so then we can start tailoring strategies specific to you. So the second tip I have is in structures and routines as part of your strategies, right? Start considering, how are you organizing your work? So when we look at organization, we want to look at how you're organizing your digital work. Like for example, in your desktop, is anything organized, or is it just everywhere in your desktop? Then you might find yourself, when you need some materials, you might find yourself going through the desktop looking for it, which takes up a lot of time. Or it might look like the physical workspace that you have. Are they organized? Do you have your system in place on these are the piles to be filed on a Monday or Wednesday or Friday kind of thing? And do you have everything you need on your workplace? Is it cluttered? Is it distracting? Or is it a place where you can actually complete the work that you're doing? So as part of this organizing, you also want to start looking at perhaps considering routines, because established routines helps you increase predictability, which also then reduce your mental load when it comes to planning. And especially for things that you find you will need to do anyway on a very frequent basis in order to complete the work that you're doing. So maybe that could look like setting time aside, Monday 12 p.m. or something, to look through all your emails, to plan the diary for the week, or to plan in breaks, because you know that you can only have attention for 1 hour of sustained work. Or it might look like you will find it really hard to have important meetings or presentations at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So knowing all that and establish them in routines, like meetings needs to be before 12 p.m., etc. Knowing all that would be very handy, okay? The third tip I have here is with time management. So you might want to consider as well the use of technology if you are a techie person, and use of apps even to help you with time management. So what that looks like could be looking at a big project but breaking them down into manageable bite-sized chunk that is less overwhelming, and knowing whether you are the sort of person who builds momentum by doing something simpler first, or you build momentum by going straight to the more challenging task. Then you incorporate that in your time management system and how you set out the small chunks of task that leads towards the big project completion. You might also want to consider adding visual reminders or sticky note on your computers. Could be one way of visual reminders, or on the phone as it buzzes, as you set timer. I'm working for 20 minutes and I'm taking a 2 minute stretching break, etc. The fourth tip here is to have a look at, I guess this is more on the interpersonal side. In the work relationship, have a look at expectations. Like, what is the expectation for you in your current job? Is it a clarified expectations, or is that what you think is expected of you, which would be what I class as your assumptions of what you need to be doing? For example, is it an expectation, or is it an assumption that you need to be dealing with someone else's emergency when they come to you, even though you might be doing something really urgent at the same time? Okay? Because as you could clarify the job expectation and your job role, that also gives you the time and the opportunity to also look at reasonable accommodation in a workplace. So if you're someone who might find yourself easily distracted, an open plan office may not always work best for you. And perhaps we want to start looking at maybe, like, if everyone's open plan, then maybe at the corner or places of least distraction, or whether there's ways of helping you manage the distraction. And in this current day work environment, as we move more into this boundaryless work, flexible work-life balance, maybe could it also be you working from home in a space and environment that you feel safe, you feel that you have structured it such that you will be less distracted, for example. So just some options thrown out there. The fifth tip I have here is to actually pay attention to your self-care and have that work-life balance, right? So our mental health always have a lot of impact on even how we feel about ourselves, the way we think about ourselves, the way we engage with our community and with ourselves in general and at a broader and in our workplace. So it is an investment when you spend time to look after yourself, and make sure that you always have an unwind time after you have just spent a whole day at work, just to relax, recharge, and be ready for the next day. So that might even look like doing something you're really interested in, doing something that really fills and recharges you. Or it might just even it could also look like taking time for yourself, saying no to others so that you could rest at home, because you need that time and space just to be by yourself and to be in that peace and quiet in a space that you have chosen to relax in and unwind in. So that's it for me today. If you need any assistance, please feel free to be in contact with us at Prosper Health Collective. Thank you.